Welcome to Sage at Kapiolani Community College. This is part 2 of setting up General Ledger. In this segment, we'll continue on with General Ledger setup and take a look at main account maintenance, sub-account maintenance, and a few other topics. When doing main account maintenance in the chapter, you're dealing with modifications to the main chart of accounts. So we're talking about the section that typically is related to the line item description of whatever you're dealing with. So telephone in this example given here, rent, electricity, um, cash accounts, liability account, such as accounts payable, etc. So revenue accounts. So you're in the main category of account type when you're dealing with main. Okay. So moving on, we can do things with that main chart of accounts, including using existing account setups as a pattern for creating additional account types. And accountants typically will refer to the main account section as a line item being kind of equivalent with a name of the account or account type. And often the company won't allow lower qualified users to establish new accounts. Otherwise, we end up having all kinds of crazy accounts all over the place. So it typically requires some sort of an approval. So you would typically be locked out from creating new account types. But who knows? If you're the person in charge of the entire accounting system, then you'd be the one to do it. Now you can also use it to auto create ranges of accounts that will follow a specific pattern, like I mentioned a minute ago. So if we go to main account maintenance and we pick up account number 668 as a new account for us. And then we tab down and say we want that to be training. And the short description, tab down, train. And we'll leave it in the 600 account group, probably other operating expenses, and set up a start date of 5/30/10. Tab on over and ask if we want to save the account. Yes. So now we're going to copy. Now, instead of copying, we could have just left it right there and gone and checked out that account in the chart of accounts. And in there, we'd see 668-00000, meaning there's a base account type for training, but there's no department and location to go along with it. And of course, we want, as the accounting structure is set up here for this company, there are typically departments and locations that go with every account. So we're going to set this up and say, I want to inherit the kind of properties that go with the account number 665. So we'll pick this operand here, or operator, and pick equal to, and say, create or copy from the accounts that 665 has. And once we do this, we're going to go ahead and take a look and see what it looks like and see what we get as a result. So based on what I've input here, I'm going to go here and select proceed. And we'll just look up our 668 account here, tab it over, and go down and change our start date to a month earlier. And apply. And yes. And we're going to apply the change in date to our start date field and proceed. Let's go back out and take a look at what we generated already with copying our pattern to the expense account field. Let's go to main and to account maintenance. And we'll take a look at account in the 600 range. And we were at 6 668 that we added, and it should follow the pattern of 665. Okay, so 665 has utilities, and it has 01 north and south, 02 north and south, 03 north and south. Now training that we established, because all we did was just create the one and then say copy it, we have 668 training, 01 north, 01 south, 02 north, 02 south, and 03 north, 03 south. So our establishment and our copy was successful. So we can use this same kind of system to apply changes to other ranges of accounts by just doing the same sort of function. So I'm going to go ahead and pick 400 as my main account, and that's the sales account. And I want to enter in here Bob Sanders as my sales manager. I set him up earlier, so I've picked him up. And then I want to, the difference here is that I'm using an account that already exists, and I'm going to just apply this change, assigning Bob Sanders as a sales manager for that account, those accounts, through this main account maintenance function. So I'm going to go ahead and say for Bob Sanders, I want to apply this, save my change. And for any account starting with 400, I'm going to have Bob Sanders as my, salesperson. And we'll see what I got. To do that, let's just head over to the General Ledger Reports menu and ask for a chart of accounts for just a range of accounts. Let's go from 400 to 500 just for kicks. Okay. So let's print the roll-up types and codes down over here. And for the main account, let's pick a range. We'll get everything from 400 to 500, say, and preview that guy. Now we could, of course, pick Cute PDF Writer and send this out to a PDF file, view it there, copy it over to our own desktop, print it out if we wanted, upload it to the server, any number of things. But all I really want to do at this point is just preview and see if my work stuck, right? So I'm going to preview here, see what does it give me. And it tells me on my chart of accounts report that for accounts beginning with 400 in the main account segment, all the sales accounts are going to be attributable to sales manager Bob Sanders. And beginning with services, there is no attribution to the sales manager. And since I didn't do the regional setup in terms of like assigning that to anybody, then I won't see that either. So next we'll take a look at the sub-account maintenance. And sub-account maintenance functions much like main account maintenance does, of course. However, it only works for other segments of the account. And so the segment we're talking about looking at here is the departmental segment. And if you recall, that was a 01, 02. And we're going to enter a new segment here. And the sub-account value is going to be 00. And what we're essentially doing here is setting up the 00 accounts as being our corporate accounts, like those when we have no particular department or location to attribute them to, we'll record things in the corporate account. So setting up here, corporate, and the short description is going to be corp. And we'll leave the status as active. And we're going to add a add one right after we accept this one. And now we're going to go ahead and pick the sub account as location segment and 000 because that's not north, not south. No. And we'll decide that if we have a 000 as the location, that's going to be called our corporate location. And short description will be CNT, excuse me, CORP. So it'll be corp. So any account 00000 will be corporate as the department, and corporate location as the location. So in this case, we're taking existing account segment values and assigning a name to them, essentially. But now what we're going to do is we're going to create like a new sub-account, and we'll call this one the central location. So if we look up what we have available right now we have corporate, north, and south. We don't have a central. So we're going to go ahead and add the three-letter code CNT as our central location, and we'll call that central location. And short description, CN central. And we're going to go ahead and accept that, and then close. Now if we take a look at our chart of accounts, back on reports, and see what we have available, and we ask for any account with the location of central, we can select that. We can select corporate. Central, we're not going to get much because we haven't given anybody that as their location. But for corporate, everybody already had 000 at the end of the account is a corporate account. So preview that guy and see what we got. Now, all I had to do is say equal to because it's 000. So it's all the same value. And notice everybody with 00000 ends up being on our chart of accounts report that's restricted to just this particular situation. And notice it says we have more than one page here. So at the top, when I want to click go to the next page, I do the right play button. If I want to go to the very last page of the report, then I'll go to the end button, sort of like a, I don't know what, CD, I guess. Okay, continuing on here, everybody with 00000 has popped up. I have 01000 also, right? So anybody with just 000 ending, I didn't do any restriction for the department, I just did the location, ends up popping up in this report. Okay, I only had that one guy with the 01, I guess. Yeah, that's about it. So what we've been doing so far have been sort of mass changes that a skilled operator would be able to do based on their knowledge of the system and having pre-planned the activity ahead of time so they don't end up with 100 accounts that they didn't want. We're going to shift from there to go to just straight up account maintenance. And if you're just using regular account maintenance, you can use this to add, change, or just query an account. You can even see what happened inside the account through account maintenance. It's a very simple way to get what's happened in an account or to see whether a transaction you have entered has been posted or not. In other words, whether the system has updated the actual account itself. And in some cases, there's a two-step process, so you might need to do that just to make sure things have stuck. So let's go to account maintenance on the main general ledger tab, and we're going to pick account number 120. So to get into account maintenance, we leave the setup area and we head over to the general ledger main area and click on account maintenance. And it may be playing peekaboo with us, so we'll pop it up from behind. And we'll go and look for account 120 00 north. So I'm going to type in 120 and see what I get. Well, I have 3 to choose from. The one I want is the middle guy right over here. Pick him, and then as a result of picking him, I get to do a search for transactions to find those transactions that came from my purchase order source journal during the month of April. So what I'll do is I'll move to the transactions tab, and then I'll hit my binocular here for search, and I'll say for the source journal, I want those source journal entries that came from only the value of purchase order. That's down over here. and that's our purchase order receipts register, meaning that merchandise that came in as a result of purchase orders. And I only want it for the period of April. So I'll set that, although I could do a range, I could do April through May or what have you, of 04. And then this should restrict my attention to only those things that came in on a PO for that period. Notice it returned it. I don't have any further capability to drill down more until I select it. And then I have the possibility to either do a transaction zoom to see the source document or the source entry of the source document, or a journal zoom. Journal zoom will tell me, give me the batch report that this transaction was contained within. So I'll see that in addition to getting inventory received for north, I also had inventory received for south input at the same time. And the accounts involved were accounts payable and purchases clearing. Purchases clearing indicating that I received the stuff but have not yet received the accounts payable invoice. When I do the transaction drill, zoom, I can go through and see the totals that were involved here, the vendor, the type of item that I received because it's an inventory item, and other pertinent information. So you can see it's really easy to get information about a particular account's activity over the preceding period, like we did in this case here. Now, if I want to do anything new in terms of adding accounts, then I'd like to use this space here to add an account. If I type in an account number here that doesn't exist, such as 671-00000, and it did not already exist, I would pop up a window that told me that the account didn't exist. And I don't want to hit the magnifying glass because that presumes that that account exists already. I'm going to just hit the Enter key, and that'll take me over to here, tell me I don't have such an account. And you can see it tells me that it doesn't have that account on file. So I tab down over here to the main value, and then I hit my Add button so that I can go ahead and enter in all the details that I need for this account. And then having entered in all the data that I need, I'll go ahead and click OK. And OK again. And accept this guy. So that's bank charges at corporate level. And so you can see that because we have the capability to do main account maintenance and sub account maintenance, we can work with ranges or types of accounts and assign, do some multiplication of our effectiveness with those. And then if we want to look at a one-off modification or addition, then we go to account maintenance, and we can use that to add a specific account. We can make an account that has certain sub accounts to go with it. We can edit an existing account. And then really especially helpful is you can look at all transactions in a particular account for the period. It's kind of like a little general ledger detail report. The next portion of the chapter will deal with financial report group maintenance. And essentially what this does is creates saved reports for you that have customized specifications. And you can run through that yourself to see like what kind of results you end up with. The essential idea is that you're going to create the groups and then populate it with particular financial statements laid out a certain way, and then be able to generate that by just one click and asking for the report to reports that will be provided that you've already specified. Thanks. Hope this helps.